So Santa might now be resting, but the sports card market is not. In fact, there's several cards that doubled in value over the holiday break. We'll tell you which ones went up the most in today's Top 5 Cards.
My name is Geoff Wilson. By day, I invest in tech companies, and at night, I invest in sports cards. Join me and my team as we help you profit from the hobby we all love.
Hello, sports card investors, and welcome to another Top 5 Tuesday. I hope you had an absolutely amazing holiday. Hopefully you got some wonderful sports card gifts under the tree. If you did, if you ripped any wax on Christmas Day, let me know in the comments below. I want to hear about it. And of course, today's Top 5 is sponsored by Whatnot. Whatnot has awesome live auctions every day, even over the holidays, starting at just $1 for packs, boxes, breaks, singles, and more. It's a lot of fun, and if you scan the QR code on your screen or use the special link in our show description below, you'll get $10 in free credits when you sign up for Whatnot. All right, guys, there are some cards that really went up a lot over the holidays. We're going to look at them, but first let's look at the overall sports card market by looking at the market pulse by market movers. It continues to be down. It's obviously been a big down year for the sports card market overall. Looking at our SCI 500 index of 500 of the most prominent sports cards, it's down almost 28% on the year. Here's the good news. January 1st is now just around the corner. That's going to reset. Are we going to see it go up next year? I hope so. I'll tell you what I think about that in a future episode. But for now, let's zoom in and look at some of the particular cards that are going up. It's cold outside, so we're going to start the list with a cold card. DeSean Watson has not exactly been the quarterback of the Cleveland Browns' dreams that so many of their fans hope for now that he's returned to play. The Browns are just 2-2 since Watson has taken over as starter. He's completed 58% of his passes, 2 touchdowns only over the course of 4 games, 3 interceptions, not great numbers. And those football card investors who had bought Watson's cards early in the season, hoping that when he came back, he'd perform well and his cards would go up, the opposite's happening. Let's take a look at market movers. I brought up 4 of Watson's rookie cards on the screen. I've got his 2017 Prism Silver and PSA 10, as well as PSA 9, and I've got his 2017 Optic Base and Optic Hollow, both in PSA 10. We're looking here over the last 30 days. You can see all of these are down a bit over the last 30 days. Switching to look at the details, all of these cards are down somewhere between about 10% and about 25% over the last 30 days. That Optic Base card 30 days ago was selling for right around $100. Today selling for about $75. So that is that 25% decrease over the last 30 days. Maybe he'll do better next year. I don't know. But at the moment, Watson's cards, they're as cold as the weather outside. But now let's heat you up with some hot cards, and we're starting with Melo Ball. He returned to Charlotte's lineup on December 14th, and he's been playing very well since. Of course, he's missed a lot of the season already with an ankle injury, but now that he's been back in the 6 games since he's been back, he's averaging 25 points a game. He's shooting 41% from 3. So this has reawakened the LaMelo Ball market. You can see what I'm talking about here on the screen. I brought up 5 of his popular rookie cards, 2020 Prism Silver and Prism Base in PSA 10. I've got his photo variation from Fast Break in PSA 10. I've also got his Prism Red Ice and his Prism Emergent in PSA 10. And if we switch to look at the details on these, you can see all of these are going up at a pretty healthy clip, anywhere between 11% all the way up to 112% for that Emergent card. Now, that's the least expensive of all of these cards. But you could have bought his 2020 Prism Emergent PSA 10 for $16.50 30 days ago. And now that he's back and performing well, that card most recently sold for $35. Not a bad little flip over the holidays. Now let's go to the GOAT of soccer, the GOAT of the World Cup, Lionel Messi. You guys know what an incredible World Cup he has, scoring a ton of goals, but most importantly, winning that World Cup championship, holding the trophy that had eluded him in his previous World Cups. He's won so many different awards and championships and accolades over his career, and he finally got the World Cup for Argentina. He's excited, his fans are excited, and those who hold his sports cards are excited as well. Here in Market Movers, I brought up 4 of Messi's World Cup cards throughout the years. I've got his 2006 Panini World Cup card in PSA 10 condition. That's a very rare card. Population of only 88 of that card. That one sells for around $5,600, very high end. I've also got his 2014 Prism World Cup base card in PSA 10, his 2018 Prism World Cup base card in PSA 10, and then from the brand new 2022 Prism World Cup, that's his silver card in raw condition. And if I switch the graph to look at price change by percentage, you can see how all of these have spiked recently. It's actually the brand new one, the 2022 Prism World Cup, that is up the most from a percentage standpoint. That silver card in raw condition is up 317% over the last 30 days. If you have one of those cards in your collection, you could sell that today for around $120, but you could have bought that card 30 days ago for just $28.75. $28 to $120. That's a pretty nice holiday treat. Turning to football in the number 3 spot today, it's Baker Mayfield. Baker is back. He's back in our top 5, believe it or not. Now, you guys know he landed with the LA Rams after Matthew Stafford got injured. He assumed the starting role. And much to my dismay, the Rams completely crushed the Broncos Sunday night, 51-14. Now, this was much to my dismay because I was in the Super Bowl of my fantasy football league, and I started Denver's defense. They got -4 points. -4 points. I lost the Super Bowl because I started Denver's defense. I don't know what I was thinking. What I was thinking was that Baker Mayfield wasn't going to put up 51. I can't believe he did that. But those who are holding Baker Mayfield's cards, you may want to sell right now because they weren't worth a lot a couple months ago. Suddenly, they're up in value. Let's take a look at what I'm talking about on the screen here. I brought up 4 of his 2018 rookie cards. I've got his Donruss base in PSA 10, his Optic Downtown in PSA 10, his Optic base in PSA 10, and his Prism base in PSA 10. Let's switch to look at the details. Guys, look at this. That's amazing. Look how much these cards have gone up. These are all up over the last 30 days. Somewhere between 92% and 196%. That's ridiculous. His Optic base card, now granted that's an inexpensive card, but his Optic base card in PSA 10 condition was selling for $13.50 30 days ago. It's $40 today. That's what it's most recently sold for. I mean, that's a pretty nice increase. His Downtown went from $130 in PSA 10 condition to $250 in just 30 days. Now, I am not necessarily recommending Baker Mayfield as a long-term investment. In fact, many of the cards featured on these top 5 episodes are ones that you may want to sell at the peak. They're not necessarily long-term investments. They're certainly not ones we're picking. I wouldn't pick Baker Mayfield as a long-term investment, but at the moment, his cards are red hot. Sticking with football for the number 2 spot, it is Justin Jefferson. What an incredible season the wide receiver is having. 123 catches, 1,756 yards so far this season. He has now set the Vikings single season receiving record, and he is perhaps closing in on Calvin Johnson's single season NFL record of 1,964 yards. We'll see if he gets there or not. That would be absolutely amazing. You know, we had a conversation on our last Cards on the Table episode last week about whether wide receivers can actually make good long-term investments. Generally, they don't. Generally, they can go hot for a season, but then cool off. Will Justin Jefferson be an exception? Can he continue at this pace in future seasons? Only time will tell. But at the moment, his cards are red hot. Let's take a look here in Market Movers. I brought up 5 of his rookie cards. His 2020 Prism Base PSA 10, Donruss Base PSA 10, Optic Hollow PSA 10, Optic Base PSA 10, Mosaic Base PSA 10. Let's switch the graph to look at price change by percentage. Look at these things just jump off the page, especially here over the course of the last 7 days. All of these cards are up quite a bit from a percentage standpoint. Now, his cards are not up percentage-wise as much as Baker Mayfield, but there's also a ton of sales of his cards, more sales of his cards than Baker Mayfield. There have been a lot of Justin Jefferson cards sold over the past few weeks. The one that is up the most is his Donruss base card. It went from $58 in PSA 10 condition 30 days ago, now selling for right at $100. That is a $42 profit if you were to have flipped that card, of course before fees, over the course of the last 30 days. And now it's time for today's number one card, but before I give it to you, let me remind you that all of the charts and graphs from today's episode are from Market Movers. And guys, last year, the sports card hobby really heated up in January. The price of some cards shot up big time in January. Is that going to happen again this next year? I don't know. But what I do know is that you need Market Movers so you can be tracking the sports card market and seeing opportunities to buy cards when they're low and sell cards at their peak. And you can get Market Movers for free for 7 days. And then after that, it's just $9.99 per month for the starter version. Just go to sportscardinvestor.com and click on Market Movers in the main menu bar. Okay, guys, number one on today's list, Trevor Lawrence. He's back in the top 5. Last week, he was number 3 in the top 5, but his cards have gone up even more since last week. So we had to put him number 1 today. The Jags have won 3 straight games. Lawrence has been a big reason why, completing 67% of his passes, 915 yards, 7 touchdowns, and only 1 interception during that 3-game winning streak. That is impressive considering where the Jags were last year to how far they've come in the last few games. This perhaps means really good things for the future of that organization and really good things for the future of those who have Trevor Lawrence cards. We'll see. But his cards right now are hot as can be. Let's look at Market Movers. I brought up 6 of his different rookie cards on the screen. His 2021 Donruss base PSA 10, his 2021 Optic base PSA 10, and then I brought up a bunch of his raw cards as well because there aren't as many of his Prism cards graded out there. So I've got his Prism base raw, his Prism red, white, and blue raw, his Prism pink raw, and his Hyper numbered to 175 raw. Guess what, guys? Let's look at price change by percentage. Look at these things jump off the charts over the last 30 days. These have been some of the hottest cards in the market, and not just in terms of percentage, but also in terms of sales volume. These things have gone berserk. But how about that Prism red, white, and blue card in raw condition? This thing's up the most, up 174%. You could have picked up that card for $15 30 days ago. That card is now over $41. How about his Optic base card, PSA 10? That one has gone from $65 to $127 over the last 30 days, a 95% increase. It's great to see Trevor Lawrence and his cards doing so well. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's top 5. If you did, check out Market Movers. Go to sportscardinvestor.com, click Market Movers in the main menu bar, and give our video a like, give us a subscribe. Hey, an early happy new year to you, and we'll see you again in a couple days with our next episode. Take care.